Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school. Yeah.
Let's do it.
What's up, Raj? How are you doing tonight, sir? Welcome into the Herb and Rodg Podcast. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Have a fun one planned. We're going to cover everything Florida State that we can cover, especially with a lot of the comments that are being made in the offseason and ACC Media Days and fall camp out to start. So, Raj, first, you're the star of the show. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastically splendid on this beautiful Tuesday evening. Herb, thank you for asking. You already told me you're doing well, so I'm not going to ask.
Rude, but that's fine. We're going to flip it around so everybody can read my stuff. So please hit that like and subscribe. We are on our way to 400. Where are we, like 385 right now, Raj?
385, we need 15.
But you got to cross 400 first. So
yeah, we're there.
Raj, I said you're the star of the show, but you're really not. Somebody else a little bit more important than you tonight. No offense.
All right.
Our guest for the night, Raj, Coach Norvell, has to check in with him after every loss.
Okay.
And to see if he's going to be kept at the end of the season.
Okay.
We brought him on to talk Florida State, but he's actually a recruiting guru. And we follow Hayes Fawcett. Hayes Fawcett follows him. Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's where he gets a lot of his news from. So.
Okay.
And this gentleman, Raj, he's faster than DJ Lagway, throws the ball farther than Thomas Castellanos, and he's overall just cooler than Carson Beck. I don't know. You could.
That's a lot, man, for one person.
Yeah.
Wow.
From Locked On Seminoles. How are you doing tonight, Brian?
Wow, Brian, you must be a cool, fast person, man. What's going on?
You haven't seen me throw lately. I know that much. My days of throwing the football have concluded.
I understand.
So the other two might be true, though?
What's that? Well, the others I'm pretty good with, but the throwing the football thing, let's keep that on the low.
Yes, sir. You got it.
All right.
Like we said, thank you for joining us. Now, we did I told you Corey Burton from Locked On Van, he talked good about you, but he talked more about the recruiting side. Do you like talking recruiting more than you like talking Florida State, or where is it kind of?
Recruiting is my passion nationally, from LA to Miami. I could be at Elite 11 finals, or I could be at Battle Miami for the biggest 7-on-7 event. I'm happy in that realm, but at the same time, being at games is fun, and covering it, doing live podcasts is fun. So it depends, but going to events and scouting kids and seeing somebody for the first time is probably my biggest passion.
Yeah, I got you. I was wondering what drew that to, because from the fans' perspective, recruiting is maybe one of the more frustrating things I think I've ever seen, especially with the transfer portal. How's that, the transfer portal and NIL really changed how you cover the recruiting aspect of things?
Well, the portal, when I break anything with the portal, it gets like 5 times as many views as recruiting, because people get pissed when a kid leaves their school. And then, of course, you get the fans on the other side. But like literally, it's bigger news, because it's about pride and people being angry, because it's almost like a jilted lover, like literally.
Yeah.
So that's tough. It hits different.
Yes. Yeah. Once a kid gets recruited to your school, and once they finally start, get to signing day or whatever, you kind of get like emotional. Some people get kind of like emotionally attached to these kids, and they want to follow them on social media, so forth and so on. And they're going to have a great year. But then once the portal opens up and they leave, they're like, how could they do this to me? What about me? And how?
You're right. You hear people say the word "we" when they're talking about their school.
Yep.
Never a good sign.
Right.
Yeah. Never a good sign.
Let's say hello to a couple of people. Happy birthday to Denver Murray. What's up? Thank you for joining in tonight. Jay Bake is here to stir up trouble. Jay Bake, happy to see you, man.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you.
Cat Pool, what's up? Roll Tide, Alabama legend there. Carol, what's up? Georgia Bulldog fan in the house. Yep. So,
Carol, thank you for joining us. Cat, same.
Eric D, what's
Eric
up?
D, what's going on, man?
Alex Water. We'll stop there for a minute, start getting into it. All right, so we wanted to start off talking about ACC Media Days, even though I know this was a week ago. And I guess you have to start with Norvell and the press conference. And I'll be honest. When I first heard, because usually for most of these, I've read the transcript, or we've read the transcript, about what they said. But everyone talked about his behavior so much that I had to go back and watch the clip. And so, what was your thoughts? I did watch the video about it, but let's kind of tell everybody here. What were your thoughts on how he reacted at ACC Media Days and the kind of animated style that he went after there?
He's a very positive man in general, but something was in his crawl, because you get in a minute and something into the podcast or I watched it like a podcast. You get in just a little bit, and all of a sudden he starts raising his voice to basic questions. And just feel it was almost like he was on speed or something. I'm not saying he had a stroke, but it was like, that doesn't even sound like him. He was angry.
Yeah.
And they weren't like mean questions. They were really generic.
Yeah.
And it was for like 4 or 5 minutes. I mean, a bunch of people commented about it. So I went in and watched it over, and I did a podcast on it.
Right. Yeah. I was watching that before we came on. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like, this is not normal for him. And I get that people have just harped on the 2-10 season, but guess what? You went 2-10.
Yeah.
Where they're going to report what happened, and there's nothing else to talk about it in the offseason.
Yeah.
So deal with it. You're the one that caused it. That's what I said. People get tired of it, but what do you want me to say?
Yeah.
If he hadn't signed that contract after the 23 season, he got fired. Period.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, he's still owed about $50 million, to give or take.
Yeah, I saw that,
probably not getting fired after this year.
Yeah,
he's probably not. So, it's a weird situation. They're kind of stuck with him. But I thought he was totally different today at their media day, and he seemed like himself again. Okay. So my question is, did somebody talk to him? I'm guessing their media people are like, what?
We can't do that again.
There's no way they wouldn't have done their job if they hadn't, because it's not a good look.
Yeah.
So he was pretty chill today, and he barely mentioned anybody by name. So it was total coach speak. Didn't want to name Jimmy, but not Johnny, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, this is all. I watched about 10 minutes. I turned it off. I'm like, I watched some of the assistants. Right. And Norvell's was pretty worthless to me, because he gave no real information, just positive energy and, pom-pom Petey kind of stuff. And that was it.
Yeah. The biggest thing you said in there too, I didn't feel like any of the questions were crazy. I felt like it was all just cookie cutter normal stuff. And he was just, and I understand you're coming off a 2-10 season, but like you said, you signed a contract and you're a coach. Like, these are all expected things. Yeah. All those great interviews you had after the undefeated season, like it's gonna flip. And that's to me
complete opposite
part of the whole game. Yeah. So I thought it was interesting. But you did mention, was there anything else from his opening comments in there and from the press conference you take besides the demeanor? I don't know, that maybe gives Florida State either hope for this next year or just anything else you wanted to say before we move on to the next player?
Most of it was what I'd already heard. The best information that we get in media has zero to do with press conferences. That's reality. Fans don't want to hear that. It's all backdoor stuff, which most we can't report. But it does lead us to where you ask questions, what you look into. And some of the things that I had heard he brought up, talking about the energy was a little bit different with some of the workouts. Darrell Jackson, who's probably their best player, he's just incredibly freaky, 6'6", 340, going to play nose guard. He can play anywhere.
Right.
That was their leader, and I'd heard some of that stuff. That was good, but otherwise, really, there wasn't anything earth-shattering.
Yeah.
So it's just, I need to see something in game 1 against Alabama, win or lose, and I expect it to be the latter, but they need to show something before anybody cares what Norvell says in front of a microphone now, because they won 2 games last year.
Right. Yeah. Right. No, like you said, it's fair. I mean, that's like Alabama fans. We'd be after our coach, after 2. It happens everywhere. So it's to be expected in this game. You mentioned Darrell Jackson. He was at Media Days. Actually, declared for the draft, came back to school, was asked about that. I think he may have given some of the short, and there's one in every group. I think as we've gone along with the Media Days, he seems just kind of look, I really want to get back to playing. Am I reading that wrong? Because I'm more transcript than reading his answers, but it seemed like he was just kind of a little more business, I guess, than anything else.
I was told that he was the guy, for whatever this is worth, because it's polar opposite of his effort. If you go watch the Georgia Tech game, some of these, there were plays he just quit last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
You watch that North Carolina game, especially the Notre Dame game. Well, my dead grandmother could have made more tackles. Some of those plays.
Yeah.
But this spring, like they said, outside screen, he would run it down. He's 340. I mean, he is massive.
Right.
He would run down guys. So that speaks to his athleticism, but this is practice, to quote Allen Iverson.
Right.
And he went out of his way to set the example.
Yeah.
Guys like him don't normally do that.
Yeah.
Because God gifted him a little differently. Like his right arm weighs more than some people. So he's a big human being, but he's athletically gifted in ways that like even some of the rarer Alabama guys are. But now we're hearing that he's actually putting in the effort. The end of the summer, they do what they call break the rock, like it ends the summer workouts. They voted for Darrell to do it. That's a really good sign. When your most talented guy is your hardest worker, it usually works out well for that unit.
Right.
So last year he was like
lead by example.
He was the opposite.
Yeah.
He was their most talented guy, and he was the loafer.
Yeah.
Now there are a bunch of guys loafing, but he was one of, and I was like watching him, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He was, it just nowhere near full effort. But everything I've been told is that's flipped, and that the defense is different. And Tony White, who they brought in from Nebraska, is the real deal.
Right.
People in Tallahassee should get to know him quickly because he will not be in Tallahassee long. He'll be a head coach pretty soon. Okay,
I like that. And Darrell did mention, I guess, in his thing that he does want to take on more of a leadership role. So, were you surprised that he had declared for the draft even briefly?
No, I think he'd already declared for the draft and just hadn't said so publicly before last season.
I got.
Where was he mocked to go? What round?
Before last season, there was talk that he could possibly go first or second round because his hand size and his length and stuff will be in the 90 percentile.
Okay.
And he can play nose. He can play 3-tech. Like he's the rare he's a guy Belichick, if he was still in the NFL, would be all over because he can play nose in the 3-man line. You know how rare those guys are because that's what Saban recruited. Right. There aren't many of them. So he's a dude, but he's got to show the effort because again, the God-given ability is through the roof. And they got a lot of size on the D line. They got a kid that transferred in, Jason Jenkins, from Tennessee, 6'6", 275. They think he can play anywhere from nose to that stand-up jack position. I need to see that, but they think that he could be a guy too. So they've got players up front, but Darrell is the leader. And if he plays well, I think it can kind of elevate other guys because he's going to eat up double teams. I don't think he'll put up a lot of stats, but everybody else goes free.
Right. And that's half their job anyway, right? So you're not always going to be a stat monster, but you're going to fill it up. So the one I had trouble tracking down Richie Leonard's offensive lineman, his transcript. Was there anything notable from him at Media Days, or is there anything that you just kind of want to talk about with him and why he was selected to go with the coach there?
Well, he's an interesting situation. He played at Florida, transferred to FSU last year. He got injured in, I believe it was game 4, and then he redshirted the rest of the year.
Okay.
So it's kind of wild. I don't know how many teams are like this, even in today's era. But Florida State will start 5 offensive linemen that are all transfers this year. That is not normally the road you want to go.
Right.
But he was the one holdover. He could have left. He could have went somewhere else. And he's allegedly been a little bit of a leader for them in some sense, even though he got banged up. And they respected that. And they wanted somebody that was from last year's team on the offensive line to do it. They're trying to gel up front. But the other 4 linemen they brought in are all multi-year starters. Pettibone, the kid from Wake Forest, is probably their biggest key. He's the alpha of the group. He's got a chance to get paid. Yeah. So I think they wanted the experienced guys to have that chance, and they wanted him to be a part of it. And they really that might be the worst P4 offensive line that I've ever seen at the major college level.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they just anything they could to give it some confidence. And they got a new O-line coach. I know him because I covered UCF at one point. Herb Hand. He's coached at Auburn.
I like
he's
him already.
At Texas.
He's pretty for your name.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a good dude.
Okay.
But I don't know if they're going to be able to put it together or not. 5 transfers is a lot of pieces. Man.
That was kind of leading into my next question.
Go ahead.
No, that was leading into my next question. I was going to ask you, how comfortable do you personally feel about the offensive line based on what you said as far as transfers coming in, a new O-line coach, et cetera? Like, where are you at on a scale, maybe 1 to 10 or whatever scale you want to get? Like, where is your confidence level regarding the offensive line right now?
Well, for the first game, it's about a 3 because it's just about line calls and checks and how you do things because Alabama's going to run a multiple front, I'm sure, in some capacity. I would because of A, their talent, and B, their ability to take advantage of a group that's never played together.
Right.
Herb Hand talked about that during his press conference today.
Right.
Yeah, they got those kind of like semi-OTA things they do in summer now for college football coaches, and it's on air, but he said that was the first time they'd worked together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like some of these guys transferred in and they were banged up, getting surgeries, taking care of this and that. This is the first time they played together. So now you're going to get fall camp and then you go play Alabama?
Yeah.
You know, I know Alabama's not as deep as they've been in some other years, but they're still 98 percentile. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like it's still a top 5 D-line national. There's no way that should go well consistently. My question is, can they hit big gash plays? Because I don't think they're going to be able to consistently drive the ball against Bama. Thomas Castellanos is not accurate enough to do that, but they've got a lot of explosive athletes. That part that hasn't changed at Florida. So they got plenty of those. Mm-hmm. So if they can hit a few big plays, they can at least be competitive. But otherwise, I think they'll be overwhelmed at some points. And I'm not sure Thomas is going to be able to recognize all the fronts and help them get into the right play and adjust before the snap. I expect a lot of problems at the line of scrimmage, more mental between the O-line and the quarterback. Game 1, everybody's a transfer. That's a lot to take on, man. It really is.
Yeah. And to me, also offenses are always a step behind defenses in the first game anyway.
Yes.
You know, so that's and something you know, when I was watching your video when you talked about Norvell and some of the criticism stuff that's getting to him is his use of the transfer portal. You want to talk on that for a minute? And you know, you said like, hey, this is kind of a I mean, you see some of the other programs, Alabama will use it, get 5 or 6, Georgia will use it, get 5 or 6. If you're going wholesale, sometimes it's not always the best approach. But what were your comments on it?
Well, let's do it this way. Well, it's 2-parter. I'll make this entertaining for you guys. You both get a vote here. The Final Four last year was Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. So that's 20 total offensive linemen that started, okay? Mm-hmm. Out of those 20, how many do you think those schools took from the transfer portal?
4.
What do you got?
I'll go with 8.
1.
Okay.
If you win at the elite level, you get the elite high school lineman.
Is that our guy from Ohio State? Are you counting Seth? That was it?
There was one guy that in the Final Four that played.
Yeah. I guess he wasn't playing by then, though, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, they might have ended up at 2
right,
if everybody had
yeah.
But still, that's 90%.
Yeah, no, that's still crazy regardless. 4 is still not huge, so 2 is.
Yeah. Here's the deal. There are about 10 schools. Florida State currently is definitely not one that recruit O-line completely different than everybody else. These are not going to surprise anybody. Right. It's Clemson, it's Bama, it's Georgia, it's LSU, it's Texas, now A&M to a certain degree, good for them, right. Oregon, and then the 4 programs in the Midwest everybody knows, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Penn State. And those are going to be the teams that are going to be in the Final Four every year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that's why Florida State's behind, because it's about chemistry, it's about cohesion, and as I'm sure you guys have talked about, like getting Proctor back is rare as hell. Like he's maybe the best left tackle in football. But even if they hadn't, like 90% of their O-linemen are really good. They don't transfer very much.
Right.
O-linemen stay in the same place. So you look at the portal opportunities for linemen, it usually sucks. Florida State did way better than most. They got 4 guys that had starting experience. That's a grand slam.
Right.
But still, that's not the best path because they don't have any reps together.
Yeah.
So that's why teams like BYU, they got all those Mormon kids that go on missions that play like when they're 24 years old. They'll have 3 guys that are 24 years old, got a kid or 2. Mm-hmm. Up there, they may not play in the NFL, but they've got grown man strength. They've played together forever. That's how you win. And Florida State's just the opposite of that. So that's the problem because they took a bunch of kids last year, some from Bama and Georgia, et cetera, that were washouts, the 5-star kids. Yeah. Did you see what Indiana did? They come from a program that's G5. They brought 13 kids in, but they'd all played for them. Right. They were proven college guys. Indiana goes 11-1. Ironically, I went to Indiana. That's where I went to undergrad. But, like, that's a basketball school. I know. that shouldn't be how it works. You know what I'm saying? So Florida State has changed their philosophy, and they've started to recruit more, but that's not Norvell's bag. He is not a recruiter by trade.
Right.
Eventually, you have to recruit at an elite level out of high school.
Yeah.
Period.
Facts.
So they can make the playoff once every 5 years, kind of doing it this way. You're not going nowhere. You're not winning no national titles with 4 and 5 guys from the portal on your O-line. It's not happening.
Yeah.
Last year was not an operation.
Yeah.
It's just the chemistry aspect.
Yeah.
And again, like a few of these guys they've got will play in the league. The center in particular, I think will. But like no BS. Like Notre Dame's line this year, they lost 2 or 3 guys that were good to the portal that started last year. They got beat out by guys that were younger, and 3 guys that started went to the portal.
Yeah.
That is real recruiting. Florida State is not in that stratosphere.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they're going to be in trouble against Bama, even though they got some pretty good players. They have a lot of chemistry, and Bama's game 1. If this game was 5 or 6 into the season, I think it could be a 1-score game. But Bama should win by 10 or more because of the O-line and the confusion with everything. It's just natural. Good luck beating those guys for 4 quarters up front. I think that's going to be tough.
Yeah. Do you see why some teams are trying to get away from some of these tough out of conference at the beginning of the year just for reasons like that?
I think that's part of it, man, because with the portal, like everybody's roster is more in influx, which is just mathematically a fact. So you don't know what you're going to get in game 1.
Yeah.
And fans don't like what we're talking about right now is very complex stuff. And a lot of them probably don't care to hear it, especially if they're donating and spending a lot of money on these seat licenses and stuff to go to games. I want to
win right out the gate. Like I want my offense scored 40.
That's right. But that's not how it works. Football is about chemistry.
Yes.
It's about chemistry. I talked to a high school coach today. He had a school that's got some players. They got a couple of young D linemen that are P4 guys, like Alabama kind of guys. But he's like, we need to see it though, because they're sophomores in high school. It's the same thing in college. You got to see it for your team in that scheme, etc. When you bring in guys, you just don't know how they're going to acclimate.
Right.
It's the same deal at the college level. So that first game against a high level G like at Memphis, who Florida State played last year and got beat by, you schedule that game, you're not going to get any credit for winning it.
Right.
But what's your booster going to do to the AD on Monday morning? He's going to blow him up.
Yeah.
Hey, how come I just donated $5,000 and we guys got beat by Memphis?
Right.
So that's why these games are going by the wayside. It sucks, but it is what it is, man.
Yeah. That first game is just like being a husband. There's a lot of negative points and not a whole lot of positive points.
I ain't married, but I ain't going to say nothing.
Oh, let's say hello. Oh yeah, we'll have to cut that one out and send to our wives. So
your wife. I didn't say that.
Saw Randy in the chat. What's up, Randy? Jeff's over there. Sorry, I've been slacking on my.
Thank you for joining us.
Today. Saw the Wrestling Divas podcast, LA in the house too as well. Randy said, like I said, Georgia podcast that we follow. He's on tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Central. So they're replacing 4 of their 5, but all of their guys are recruits that were already on the team. They've just been waiting their turn. So
Georgia got no problems up front, man, talent-wise. If they don't get it done, that's something went wrong. It ain't a talent problem.
So, and I do see a couple questions that have come up. We've started them, so we'll save them either for that segment or for at the end. So keep those coming too as well. So appreciate everybody. All right, so we got to jump into the one of the Bama guy, former Bama guys that went with you. We always talk about Earl Little Jr. because the coaching staff reportedly actually asked him to stay at Bama before he left. So kudos to him for getting a starting spot and heading to media days. Did you want to speak on him a little bit and kind of his progress?
He's going to be the guy probably at nickel from what Coach White says. Like I listened to some of the player pods, but I want to hear the coordinators and the coaches because those are the guys that are making the decision who's playing. And Earl was one of the first dudes that was brought up, period. Tony White is no nonsense. Here's the answer. Here's the player. Here's what he's going to do. He's a media member's dream. Right. Once he becomes a head coach, I'm sure he'll go the way of Mike Norvell and everybody else, not tell me anything. But for now, he was very complimentary, and he said he's an NFL traits guy. That was a good sign. He said, he reminds me of guys I put in the NFL. And I'm like, whoa. Yeah. He wasn't asked that. He offered it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, y'all lost Devontae to Notre Dame too. So it's like 2 years in a row you lost a key guy out of the which is weird for Bama.
Secondary.
Yeah. It's so random. But like he hadn't played much at Bama. he did okay at Florida State last year at times, but that secondary was up and down, and he played some, and sometimes he was out of the lineup. But I guess he's taken a big step forward with Coach White's coaching, and I think he's a way better coordinator than what they had last year. Yeah. Again, I think Tony White's going to be a star. It's just, I don't know if the offense is going to help them a ton this year or not. We'll have to see. Yeah. But I really think that he can be a guy. Now, my only question is he going to play multiple slots, or is he just going to be the nickel/slot guy?
Right. According to his interview, he thinks he's playing multiple spots. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut across you, but from his comments, he thinks he is.
How many players think that they're not getting all the reps? That's why I want
find me the guy that actually says, "Nah, it's just going to do this one thing." Yeah.
Yeah. So, you have all these players say, "I'm playing both ways." How many of y'all think anybody besides Travis Hunter has played any right? Nobody. So I don't.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. I think they get away with it in high school, and then all of a sudden they think it's the same in college. Like, no.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
And then the other the one that I saw getting into the starting lineup, and you had kind of more detail. What do you expect from Rodell Williams this year?
We were sad to see Earl Little Jr., but I was missing Rodell Williams too. Just seeing his speed when he was at Bama, and little strong guy, really fast, had some very, very evasive too. Sad to see him go, but sorry to interrupt you, Herb. Yeah.
Well,
the fans like to hear you more anyway, Rog.
Nah.
Rodell coming out of spring was the guy, but then they got Gavin Sawchuk from Oklahoma too. So I think it's kind of one of those deals. They got a bunch of backs. Sam Singleton, they got Cam Davis. They got the big time recruit out of Lee County High School in Georgia. Like, running back is the least of their concerns. Mm-hmm. My guess is whoever does the little things. Gus is old school. He's a good guy, but he's old school. Like, if you can't pass protect, you're sitting next to Gus on the bench.
Right.
It's going to be real basic stuff.
Yeah.
They're loaded at running back, though. I'm not sure any one guy will be the dude. Like, forget his name, but the guy at UCF last year for Gus had 22 touchdowns and like 1,600 yards. Mm-hmm. Like, or whatever. Like, it was ridiculous. It ain't going to be like that because Florida State's running back room is pretty good. Yeah. But Rodell's got a chance to be the main guy. So he was out of spring.
Mm-hmm. Like picking out a random depth chart that I've just kind of been using to follow the players, and they've got Rodell, Cam Davis, Sawchuk, as you just mentioned, Singleton, and then Jalen Lucas in that order. Do you think it's going to do you think it's more fluid than that?
Oh yeah, you're looking at our lads or whatever. Yeah, look, it's the same one I use just to get a generic look.
Right.
But like Jalen Lucas is a receiver playing running back. He's 170 pounds, but he's shot out of the cannon. You got a guy like Cam Davis who's 220 pounds, and he is like a Nick Saban, Michigan State, LSU kind of running back. And then you got a guy like Sawchuk who can really run, but he makes one cut and he goes. Like, they got a little bit of everything. So I'm not sure what'll end up being the final answer. But again, little things with pass protection and all that. And Gus is, same offense as he ran at Auburn. He's going to run that downhill inside zone, maybe a little gap here and there, and some quarterback draw and stuff. They're going to run between the tackles, so you got to be a physical back no matter what.
Yeah. You actually had a Gus question in this. That's probably a good segue into that. I think Gus no-huddle offense will throw off the Bama defense.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, it's – I don't know what it was about Bama for Gus, but he always did his best job of coaching against Bama. I think you guys could probably admit to that, and probably – a few comments you probably made that you don't want to repeat on the air now.
Unfortunately, you're somewhat.
Well, I'll tell you, I think Gus kept his job 2 or 3 years longer than he really could have, because every year he would either beat Alabama or beat Georgia, and then like 1 year beat both. And that was like the pinnacle of everything he did. And that's how he survived for a couple extra years.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not, Auburn to me is the worst major college football job because the expectations are super high, but until just recently, their 3 biggest rivals were LSU, Bama, and Georgia. Good luck.
Yeah.
It's just terrible decision-making on their part on who they wanted to be rivals. But anyway, they're in a bad spot long-term. That's another deal. But Florida State, it's an easier job. You get even more talent most of the time. And the schedule in the ACC is way easier. So that offense, I think, will shred if the offensive line figures it out. Mm-hmm. Whether or not they can be consistent and Thomas Castellanos can keep it from going to the wrong team. That's what I need to see. Because like that merry-go-round they had last year at UCF at quarterback. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But they play 4 or 5 guys like that. Gus is not very patient.
Yeah.
So I would like to see what they could come up with if they can figure it out at quarterback, because they got good skill talent. Deuce Robinson's an NFL player at receiver, etc. But I'm worried about the quarterback situation if it doesn't start good. And playing Bama doesn't help that situation, in my opinion.
Definitely. It's like you should be great on the curve, I guess, to start. But Raj, this is a shot just for you, by the way.
Shout out to Bo. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you.
Yeah. If you mention somebody by name, we put you on there for sure. Go ahead, Raj.
No, Brian, you just mentioned Castellanos and, how efficient and how effective he's going to have to play this year to maintain his job. With that being said, who is number 2? If he messes up, who do you think you see filling in that number 2 spot at QB?
Well, to put it to you like this, Raj, if you've got eligibility left.
Okay, yeah.
Look, I am not in a position to be honest and be nice right now. Those two things do not coincide, because I am not a Brock Glenn guy and he is the backup.
Right.
He can run a little RPO and stuff, but he doesn't fit Gus's offense in the sense that I think.
Gotcha.
On top of that, the guy that does is a true freshman, Kevin Sperry. He's a dude. Athletically, like he can do all that stuff. But how many freshmen do you know you want to hand the ball to? And then on top of it being a heavy RPO game where he's making decisions.
Yeah.
If Thomas Castellanos gets hurt, Raj, we're getting you on the horn.
Hey, first thing we got to do is we got to talk NIL. That's it. We gotta
You're ready already for that.
Hey, man. Times are different now. We got a family to feed. We got to talk NIL money. We got to see what type of sponsorships.
This is why some of my friends in the coaching profession have retired, right?
Yes. Raj went into the transfer portal from the show for an episode. So you got to watch that one. The name has been brought up, though. It's kind of what everybody's wants to hear. So let's go back to the original comments. Saban's not coming through that door. What were your original thoughts when that came up?
I had a conversation with him when he was in high school at Ware County, and he's a showstopper athletically. Like Clemson, Florida State had said, like, recruit him at DB running back, and he wanted to play quarterback. And he said, I think I'm going to play next year because I think I just have too much talent for them not to play me at UCF. And I'm thinking to myself, no way in the world they're going to play you because you're not ready with the decision. I didn't tell him that, but he's always just been super confident like that. And I wasn't surprised. Now, my first thought was that is dumb bulletin board material for Alabama, but it is who he is. He doesn't say it to be. He's always been that way.
Right.
He does not care what you think. Some guys are just that way, and it can work out. But in today's society where everybody is super thin-skinned, is it the best decision? No. He wasn't taking shots at Alabama, but the whole comment about Saban was funny because the guy that's the head coach, pretty good too. So whatever. And the comment that bothered me is him just saying, like, I don't think they can stop me. It's about a team.
Right.
Yeah.
When he used me, that was the one that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Football is the ultimate team game. Stetson Bennett is never going to be the starter for the Raiders or the Colts or something. He got himself into a situation by going through the system. And I know Georgia had a ton of talent, but winning titles because of the guys they had around. Like that's how you do it. So that was the only comment that he made specific to that really bothered me. The Saban's not coming through this door. It's just like a fun habit. I'm going to do what I want comment. But the me perspective, I didn't like that very much.
Yeah.
And then piggybacking on that, like he basically said the same thing about his time at Boston College too, I guess, as well with that, and kind of started a little more work with him and Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien, based on the people I know, is not the most fun to be around. And I'm just going to let it ride at that.
Yeah. We had our experiences.
Yes. You're not going to hear any kind words from Alabama fans on it. So
he's a really good coach, but yet he's at Boston College. What does that tell you?
Yeah. Yep. I agree. And Tyson had and I guess what you're saying with Castellanos, he's actually that confident. None of it is any extra added.
I mean, the comment about Saban, I think, is an entertainment. That sounded like that was pre-planned. Like if he got that one off the cuff, kudos, but I don't buy that.
Right.
I think that was pre-planned. The comment about himself is just something that he says. Like I've known him to say that since high school when he was at Ware County in Georgia. So that's nothing unusual.
Mm-hmm.
The only comment that really matters from him is what he says after the game because of what the scoreboard says.
Right.
If they're at least close, nobody can say anything to him.
Right.
If they get their behinds beat, that will be a very interesting situation.
Yeah. And that's what I think our biggest points on here has been. You're putting such a bullseye on your back as the quarterback in the first game. That's wild. Raj, did you have another question you were about to?
No. I'm just if you're Thomas Castellanos, you don't want to experience a drubbing in game one after making these comments in the summer. So you want to just go ahead and to Brian's point, you want to go out and if you lose, you lose. But if it's 65-7 or whatever, what some people might think it might actually work out to, then you're gonna look back in your comments and go, maybe I shouldn't have said it to that extent. But we'll see.
That's kind of how I look at it because like you've got one path here. It's linear.
Yeah.
You guys got to, if you lose 27-24 to late field goal, nobody's going to say anything to you.
Yeah.
But outside of something else like that happening, you got to win.
Yeah.
And this is a team game. He might throw for 300 yards and they could still lose by 2 touchdowns.
Right.
Like, I just don't understand the logic behind the comment. I really don't.
Yeah. Now, given what you said about the depth chart, though, how long is the leash for Castellanos?
From here to Jupiter.
So it's just whatever you got, huh?
Unless he throws like 3 picks in the first half, I just don't see it.
Yeah.
They don't have a guy that runs the offense the way Gus needs the offense to run, especially game one with an offensive line. I know it's got some talent, but it's being piecemealed together. Maybe their top 3 receivers will be transfers. Landon Thomas is the one guy that they recruited that can be a dude. He's the tight end. He's kind of the X factor. He's an NFL player.
Right.
Only going to be a sophomore, but like all these guys, none of them play together.
Yeah.
So you're asking all those guys to figure it out? Like, brother, that's hard. Like,
yeah.
I think 10 of the 11 starters will have been transfers at some point. Landon Thomas is the only guy that is not a transfer.
Wow. Yeah.
Whew.
I've got it sitting right here. That is, and most of them, I guess, like you said, with the offensive line and everything, most of them are this past year versus just in the last 2. That is, that's tough. It's the way of the world now. I get it. It's like a Colorado kind of thing, but like you said, when you kind of jump up in competition, that's a tough way to start. So.
Yeah, Colorado's in the Big 12, and they're still, their FanDuel win total is 5.5.
Yeah, that tells you everything.
Yeah.
This is a question for Castellanos. Do you think the fans will turn on him if he loses big in game 1?
Some of them will.
Yeah.
Some of the fans, especially some of the old school fans, did not like the comments.
Stay fake.
And I get it. Not surprisingly, some of the younger fans, brasher, that aren't as experienced, that haven't had their head handed to them when they've opened their mouth yet in their life, they liked it.
Yeah.
It just depends on how much your life experiences have showed you that's not the best way.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Older people know whether it happened to them, one of their friends, etc. It's best sometimes just to smile and walk on. So he didn't go. And after you've been clipped, you've been clipped. There's no going back, brother.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I agree. Do you expect them to have a big year? Like not just Alabama, but overall? Do you expect him to have a big year with Florida State this year?
I think he'll have a pretty good year. He'll run for 800 yards, 10 touchdowns or so. The bigger question is that his sack avoidance and fumbling the football. Like sometimes he gets real loose with the football.
Right.
And there was a buddy of mine, Brooks Austin, he does with the Georgia podcast, kind of a national show. He did a thing on him. He throws late. He waits for a guy to get open, then throws.
Just throwing him open, yeah.
You got to know, like on this crosser, they didn't figure this out. He's wide up. Throw it now.
Yeah.
Like he's late. Stuff like that. If he does that against Bama, the ball is going the other way. You could argue Bama has a nationally top 5 secondary and be low on that ranking. Like I think it's top 3. Yeah. So if you're late against Bama, brother, that's going the other direction for 6.
Yeah.
So I think they'll have a pretty good year overall, but the Bama game's the only one you guys care about. I think he'll be up and down, and he'll have at least 2 turnovers. That's my guess. He'll have like 3 touchdowns, but like 2 turnovers. Yeah. And I think he'll be the reason they don't win necessarily, because they won't protect him well enough, and he'll try to play hero ball at least a little bit, and that'll get him in trouble at some point. Yeah. Now, he'll make a few plays.
Oh, definitely.
That'll make Bama fans mad, because he's going to make 3 guys miss and go get 30.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, he could line up at Alabama at I-back 100%.
Right.
He's that kind of athlete. But that doesn't mean you're ready to be a guy play after play making the right mental decisions from the pocket as a quarterback. Totally different animal.
I agree. Well said. All right. Before the predictions, you got one more thing. Like you said, this one has nothing to do just necessarily with the 2 and 10, but we ask everybody, hot seat rates. And you actually have some specific Norvell questions on there. Yeah. So I guess you can just start with the first one. How many games does he have to win this year to save his job?
About 4. You got $50 million laying around.
Oh yeah, we did talk about.
They signed the extension. Yeah.
Yep.
You got to remember, he signed the extension after the 13-win season.
Right.
And they just did over $200 million in renovations to the stadium, and they need money to buy out of the ACC. Besides that, they're set.
Yeah.
He ain't getting fired.
Yeah.
And they just hired all those coordinators and everything. I don't know if he would get fired at 3 wins, because who's buying him out?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, I get it. And I forgot that I read that.
Not eligible.
Yeah.
It's just, it should have been fired already. But it is what it is.
Yeah. It's always, and it's like administrations keep making the same mistake. Guy has a good season. Let's sign him to this.
Give him some money.
Like the rent comes up so fast. And it's like, how many times does everyone, not just Florida State, I'm just saying, how many times does everyone have to make these same mistakes before somebody goes, you know what, maybe we don't do that?
Well, he was almost y'all's coach.
Yeah. I'm happy.
Seems like a couple of different people were. So
yeah. I'm happy with DeBoer. I'm happy where it ended up.
So. Oh yeah.
So this one is from Randy. This is our Georgia Bulldog guy, and he's been saying this one for a while. So what is your take on him as far as the QB whisperer part of
it? The Jordan Travis thing is interesting because it took forever. And then in the middle of the season, 2022, the light just went on.
Mm-hmm.
But he started playing some in 2019. Like, they just didn't have anybody else because they sucked at recruiting. I'm not sure. I forget the guy's name, his first name, but in 2019, the year before he got to Florida State, got a pocket quarterback at Memphis. He threw for 4,000 yards. Okay, it's G5, but still. But he was pretty good.
Raj is getting this name. Come on, Raj.
It's not Francois.
No. White kid. He was a big pocket quarterback at Memphis. White kid. I think his last name was White as well. But, like, that was the one pocket kid he had. He only ran for, like, 100 yards, and he spun it.
Yeah.
But he's just not a recruiter. So, like, he has to develop guys because this is what I got. And he's not the greatest evaluator either. I think he sets the bar too low for quarterback recruiting. Like, you look at his quarterback recruiting, and the one kid they got that I really like, Cromenhawk, they got last year, they lost to Mississippi State.
Right.
So I'm not seeing that. But anyway, to make a long story short, he's a subpar recruiter, probably a little bit better than average coach, but is he elite? No.
And basically, they're going to pay for that one undefeated season, I guess.
Yeah.
For
a while, as far as
they're paying all right.
Let's see what else. So, well, that's good. We will get into the prediction for and Raj mentioned this just a second ago. Everybody in here, please hit the like button, hit subscribe for us poor fellows. We'll buy Raj a new hat once we reach 400.
What's wrong with my hat?
Well, really, I'll probably buy myself the hat. Tell everybody I'm going to give it to you as a gift, but that's where it's actually going. So no offense to you. So.
Okay.
So we got Brian Smith here from Locked On Seminoles, also a big recruiting guy, talking a little Florida State ahead of the big matchup with Alabama. it is time to pull out that schedule and take a look. So, did I grab? Oh my God, Rod, you gave me the Florida State schedule from last year. Well, we know where we're starting with Alabama. What is your official prediction for that game?
For this game, I think Alabama's going to win by about 10. I got 31-21. Yep.
That's actually closer, though, I guess, than obviously what a lot of us are hoping too, right?
Well, yeah. Well, it depends on what Bama fans you ask. Some of them think it's going to be 500-7. Some of them are 35-14, 42-7.
Have you seen the ones in our Have you seen the ones in our hidden and that's been posting it?
Yeah. I've seen it.
How many? I got to ask you guys this: how many Bama friends do you have that cannot pick Alabama to lose a game? Can't do it.
A lot.
I'm guessing a lot.
Yeah.
No offense. I don't care what Bama fans normally think because they're completely irrational as a general rule.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Like Raj and I are coming in at 10-2 for the second straight year. It's like if you ask me to pick the two, I'll tell you the most likely games. But I'm not going to say, hey, we're going to lose that game or lose that game. You know what I mean?
remember
like,
some people saying,
tell you.
Some people think we're going to go undefeated last year. I said, hold on, we have a first-year head coach, new coordinator, a lot of new stuff here. We're not going undefeated, so let's time out on that one. But no, I
can't do it.
No,
they can't do it.
It's hard. Take some time. All right, Herb now has the right schedule up.
Yeah.
So with that being said,
Paul, I was too busy listening to stuff before here to actually check my work. So maybe because it's the last one. I blame Raj for this anyway. So you say you start off 0-1, but then you get at least a couple games there. What are you thinking about at Virginia?
That's a very critical game for them. It's a Friday night game. It's the week before Miami. That game could be scary because this is the kind of game where Florida State just doesn't show up mentally.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't win that game, you should make sure you check out my post-game podcast.
I will.
Okay.
It'll be worth your time. It'll be worth your time. But they should win that game. I still think they'll lose to Miami the next week because I don't think they're consistent enough yet. But could they win that? Possibly. But it wouldn't surprise me if they lost to Virginia and then turn around and beat Miami too. First year of the offensive coordinator. First year of the defensive coordinator. And all the turmoil they're coming off of, if you're a gambling man, whoever you are listening to this podcast, do not bet on Florida State this year. No matter what you think of them, it's probably a team that's best to stay away from. It will be a roller coaster.
What is y'all's win total? I meant to call that up.
I want to say it's 7.5.
Yep, 7.5. You're right on it. So,
yeah. I think that's about right. I think that's about right.
If you lose the first one, you think you're losing to either Virginia or Miami for
At
sure.
Least, they'll screw that up somehow. If they beat Miami, I'd almost bet you they lose to Virginia. It's one of those kind of things.
Gotcha.
Right.
The biggest problem for me is the last four. You've got Virginia Tech, who can't play much worse than they did last year, but they got drones back, sandwiched between at NC State, where Florida State never plays well, and at Clemson, where they're going to lose.
Yeah.
Then you got Florida at the end. You cannot finish the year losing your last four.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That Virginia Tech game is really important.
Yeah.
Forget the final. Like if you struggle down the stretch that way, you can lose recruits. He's on the hot seat, all that crap. Like, again, make sure you turn into that podcast towards the end of the year because that'll be entertaining if that happens. Like that Gator game.
Gotcha.
I'm not very shy. So that is my concern. Yeah. They are deeper this year. So right now my record prediction is 7-5, and Florida State fans won't accept that because it's Florida State. I get it.
Right. Yeah.
But the schedule, even though it's ACC, you got NC State on the road, you got Clemson on the road, you got at Virginia on a Friday night the week before Virginia, you play Alabama out of conference, and you play Florida on the road out of conference.
Yeah.
It's one of the tougher ACC schedules because they got Bama and Florida.
Right.
Yep.
So,
which is a horrible draw, especially if you're kind of fighting for your life as far as that goes.
Yeah, they got rid of Notre Dame off the schedule and they added Alabama. So it's like 6 one way, half dozen the other. It's like, it is what it is.
No. You do have a Miami question coming out there. So what do you think, Beck and Miami?
I would take Miami to win because I think that program's got everything installed pretty much. Their defense isn't great, but Shannon Dawson's a guy I know. I've covered Miami, and he obviously knows how to coach quarterbacks. I think we can figure that out from last year. And they still have a lot of talent. They've got arguably the best right tackle in college football. And Francis Mauigoa, I know that kid. He's 335 pounds of muscle. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know it's at Doak, but I just think that their system and everything, they've got more depth. I like Miami. I think it'll be a pretty close game, but I like Miami. This is a year of flux for Florida State. Mm-hmm. Again, could they win that? Sure. But by that time, this is the other factor that I know nobody wants to hear as a Florida State fan, but I'm just going to say it. Castellanos is going to run around come hell, come high water.
Yeah.
He's a guy that plays like a running back, but he's your starting quarterback.
Yeah.
That doesn't bode well for a 200-pound body. So I'm worried about, like, any game he misses, they don't have somebody else ready.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if he misses any of those last 4,
that's it.
Yeah.
Raj, keep the phone warm, bro.
I got you. Hey, man, I'll give you my number after the show, man. Like I said, use the NIL money.
Let's go, bro. We got to get you to the airport.
Yeah.
Raj, yep. I mean, he's got twins too, so he's going to be asking for a specific number in the NIL money too as well. So.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Yep. All right, let's get out the last couple of questions that people were asking about it. What role the former FSU players played in the offseason to help this team bounce back?
Oh, well, I mean, the leadership thing, I've heard some of that, but like this team is really new. They got rid of some guys. Some guys asked for some money. They said, well, have a great time. Like they went out of their way to let guys leave. So part of the leadership was by getting rid of the bad apples. I'm not going to mention names, but one of them's in Baton Rouge, plays defensive end. Okay, there's some other stuff like that. And as far as guys coming back, trying to think like the best example, like Jalen Lucas got hurt early last year. That was tough. He was a transfer from Indiana, and he kind of been one of the guys who was looked at. That's a guy. Landon Thomas, even though he's young, he started towards the end of last year at tight end. That's a guy that's been kind of looked at. As far as the second, Shaheem Brown, the safety, he's a fifth-year senior. He led him in tackles. He'll probably lead him in tackles again this year. That's definitely a leader. And then Darrell Jackson. But it's just the workout stuff. And they've allegedly, I know every team says this, Bama guys probably say it too, hung out more, been more relatable to each other, stuff like that. You know, like you, especially NFL players, there are a lot of guys that don't like each other, but they play next to each other in the field. They work.
Right.
It doesn't work that way with college kids as much.
Right.
I get the bonding stuff, but I still need to see how it performs on the field before I give a crap. Yeah. Like you've got to prove it to me. But I've just heard all the cliche stuff. I haven't heard anything specific beyond that. You know, I don't know. Like they didn't have a ton of leadership last year, that's for sure. And most of their roster left. So it's going to be important. I've heard Deuce Robinson, that the transfer from USC was one of them too, but he's only been there since like January.
Right. That's tough to do. Yeah.
So like, how much is that valued and how much can you put into that? I don't know the answer.
I like it. Fair. The question that everybody is always asking, should they jump conference? If so, what conference? And are they going to anyway? Is this inevitable?
The answer is yes, they eventually will. It will be the Big Ten more than likely. It won't be the SEC. The Big Ten wants a footprint in the state of Florida for TV rights. Florida State fans and the administration at Florida State in general don't like the ACC. There's bad blood between Florida State and the SEC, I guess, because they didn't want to join way back when Bowden was coach. It's eventually going to be the Big Ten. Just a matter of when, not if.
I gotcha. And here's something that Raj asked at the beginning that somebody else wants to know. What's in
Yeah, I did. I was curious. I thought it was
Appreciate
like some sort of movie memorabilia or something like that. I didn't know what it was, but Brian answered that question. So,
yeah, this is. I used to work for Oakley. These are some rare. Like I've got a whole like. I could have a house.
Yeah,
sunglass cases, and I got stuff all over the place. It's just a passion, and they're just rare Oakleys and different things that I have.
He said,
"Thanks for a good talking point, though." That's what everybody's that's what everybody's curious about. So yeah, I have a bed back here.
That's not even the bed you sleep in. It's just a random.
It is. This is the guest room. Yeah, I got to work my setup back here. It's just nothing compared to Brian's.
Oh, nice. Brian, we appreciate the breakdown, man. A very honest breakdown too.
Yes.
So thank you very much. Thank you everybody for the questions too as well.
Yes.
We of course always win with a couple of questions of our own. Raj, do you want to go first?
Yes, I do. All right, Brian. So a couple weeks ago, I think it was a couple weeks ago, earlier this month, we found out that to start off the 2026 season, Western Michigan and Michigan, instead of just playing each other in Michigan, they're going to go overseas and play each other in Frankfurt, Germany to start off the season.
Where Raj was born.
That's actually where I was born at. Yes, it is true. We're military brats, so we bounce around a lot. With that being said, even though there's only a month left until we play you guys, let's just say something happened on our schedule, and they have to relocate the Florida State-Bama game overseas. With that being said, where would you like to see Florida State play Bama overseas?
Nowhere with the way world politics are. Sure as hell ain't anywhere in England, I can tell you that. I don't know, man, because I don't like any of those countries now. Europe can kiss my rear end. I don't know, man. Maybe Japan, because I've always wanted to visit there.
Okay.
That culture is really cool.
Okay.
I mean, that would be dope.
Yeah. All right, we'll take Japan.
There
Appreciate
you go.
It.
Yeah. All right, we like to play a little game we call Work, Play, Live, Ditch. Give you 4 names, and you have to slot them into those 4 categories. Play is, who you're going out with on Friday night, and then call. Work, who are you sitting, next to working for 40 hours a week. Live, this is person's your roommate. And ditch, when this person calls you, you let it go straight to voicemail. Raj, what do you like, players or coaches?
Players.
All right, here we go. Players. Okay. Sebastian Janikowski.
Oh.
Jameis Winston. Jordan Travis. Thomas Castellanos.
Wow.
That is the appropriate response. Good night, Lady Alpha. Have a good one.
Oh, my God. Janikowski's ditch. I know that.
Yeah.
Seabass? The 72-yard field goal try?
Yeah. Jordan Travis would probably be like roommate. I think he's a very trustworthy guy. Castellanos would be Friday night. Who's the other? I'm missing one. Who was the other one?
Jameis Winston?
Jameis Winston. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Winston could just about be anything. He's matured a lot.
Yeah.
At one point, he would have been ditch, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think he's a guy now that you could do a lot of things with him. He's worked.
I agree with this.
I think you could slot him into any of the categories now. And congrats to him because he's matured so much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
All right. Last question. And I feel like I know where this one is going. But Alabama versus Florida State national championship game. You have tickets and you are at the 50-yard line. All right. And you have to cover the game. So you have to be there. You cannot get out of there. But unfortunately for you, you have to sit next to a Bama fan for the whole game. Okay? I'm going to give you a list, and you have to pick one of these Bama fans. All right? Herb or Raj?
Oh, wow.
I like when they're always waiting for the third name. Like,
I know.
Well, Raj is at least willing to be the quarterback for Florida State in waiting, so that's good for him. I don't know which one of you guys is more likely to be the quiet Bama fan would be the answer. Whichever one of you is the quiet.
Man, I don't know about that.
You're gonna strike out on both of those. I gotta be honest.
Herb is probably a little louder than I am, but we both get loud, especially depending on the game. So.
Okay, so I would just go upstairs and I'd sit with you guys. That's fine.
You have to, so you're not going to take one of us.
You got to select one.
Well, I can take one of you, but I can just go stand up on the pavilion. I don't have to sit next to you. I mean, you can be down there and see.
So which one of us is getting into the game, though? The other one has to stay home.
Well, I mean, whoever's the quieter one's the one I want to take, even because in the car, you're probably going to get a pain in my ass too.
I guess we're going to let him escape with that one. Slide out the side door on that one.
Yep.
Ryan, we appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much, Brian.
I saw the comment where somebody said you were actually the realest. Where it was the realest guest that we've had on off season. So kind of a good way to close out.
That's what we're looking for. Yeah.
So tell everybody where to find you, what you're working on next, where they can check you out at.
Yep.
I got 2 podcasts. I do obviously Locked On Seminoles, and then the other podcast I do is Locked On the Portal. It covers recruiting, NIL, and transfer portal, both on the Locked On Podcast Network, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Podbean, wherever you get your pods, available on all platforms.
Appreciate you, sir.
Awesome.
As for us, and J-Bake, I see you over there getting banned by YouTube. As for us, this Saturday, Raj is flying solo on the After Dark show at 7:30. My wife,
7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
All the great brownie points for us married men. Woohoo! Her birthday party is this weekend, so I will be missing the show. We will catch up with you next Tuesday when we figure out what we're doing.
Yes. Still up in
Everybody have a good night. We appreciate you guys always. Thank you to our guest, Brian. That was
Brian. We appreciate you. Appreciate your time too.
Appreciate it. So
absolutely.
Roll Tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.